Most gardeners think poor harvests mean they need more fertilizer. In reality, the problem is usually damaged soil. I've seen people dump compost, manure, and expensive nutrients into their beds for months while their plants still stay weak, yellow, and unproductive. The soil simply can't hold or deliver nutrients properly anymore, and once that happens, yields collapse fast. One thing that helped me fix this early was actually measuring what was happening in the soil instead of guessing. I started using the YAMRON 4-in-1 soil meter because one section of my raised beds kept struggling no matter what I added. Turns out the soil was staying too wet, and the pH was drifting enough to lock nutrients out. That little meter helped me catch the problem before it ruined the entire bed. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. Tools like that save you from wasting months treating the wrong problem. And if you care about serious food production instead of surface-level gardening tips, subscribe to the channel because understanding soil changes everything in the garden. The first thing you need to improve is soil structure because compacted soil quietly destroys plant growth. A lot of garden beds look healthy on top but are rock hard underneath. Water either runs off or sits stagnant, roots can't spread properly, and oxygen levels drop. Then gardeners keep adding fertilizer thinking the plants are hungry when the roots are actually suffocating. One of the fastest improvements I've tested in clay-heavy soil was loosening the ground about 8 inches deep without fully turning it over. Then I mixed in coarse compost, aged leaves, and partially broken down organic matter. Not fresh wood chips. Fresh chips temporarily pull nitrogen from the soil and slow plant growth badly. After doing this in one neglected tomato bed, root growth nearly doubled within a season. The plant stopped wilting in afternoon heat, and fruit production increased noticeably. And here's something most gardening channels get wrong. Compost alone is not the magic fix people think it is. If your compost is too dense or unfinished, it can actually create problems. I've tested beds where overly fine compost held too much moisture and caused root stress during hot weather. What works better is mixing textures. I usually combine about 60% finished compost with 40% coarse organic material so the soil keeps airflow while still holding moisture. That balance matters a lot in raised beds and containers where roots heat up faster than people realize. Another major mistake is feeding plants while ignoring soil biology. Healthy soil is alive. Microbes break organic matter into nutrients plants can actually absorb. When microbial activity crashes, growth slows down even if nutrients are technically present. This is why synthetic fertilizers often create weak gardens long term. You get fast green growth at first, but the soil gradually becomes harder, dries faster, and depends on constant feeding. I tested this with peppers grown in containers side by side. The plants fed heavily with synthetic fertilizer looked impressive early, but after several weeks the soil quality dropped fast. Meanwhile, the containers fed with worm castings and compost tea stayed more stable and produced healthier fruit. One thing that rebuilds soil biology surprisingly fast is aerated compost tea. I usually brew mine for 24 hours using worm castings and a little molasses, then drench the root zone early in the morning. Within days, plants often show stronger leaf color and better growth. But none of that helps if you keep overwatering. Overwatering is probably the biggest hidden yield killer in home gardening. Constantly wet soil suffocates roots and destroys beneficial microbes. Plants need oxygen underground just as much as they need water. A healthy soil should feel slightly moist and crumbly, not muddy or sticky. If you squeeze it and it forms a heavy wet ball, you're likely watering too often. In my own beds, I water deeply but less frequently. That forces roots to grow downward searching for moisture. Shallow daily watering trains roots to stay near the surface where heat stress hits hardest. And this connects directly to one of the most misunderstood garden problems, blossom end rot. Most people think blossom end rot means the soil lacks calcium. That's usually false. In many cases, the calcium is already there, but inconsistent watering prevents the plant from transporting it properly. Once I stabilized soil moisture in my tomato beds, blossom end rot dropped dramatically without adding extra calcium products. Mulching also improves soil faster than most fertilizers if you do it correctly. Thin mulch dries out too fast, but piling mulch directly against stems traps moisture and encourages disease. I normally keep mulch about 2 inches thick and slightly away from the plant base. Straw works great around vegetables, while shredded leaves improve raised beds over time as they slowly break down. And one final thing that dramatically improves soil quality: stop leaving beds empty after harvest. Bare soil gets damaged quickly by sun, heavy rain, and erosion. Even simple cover crops like clover can improve structure, moisture retention, and microbial activity by the next growing season. Healthy soil isn't built by throwing random products into the garden. It's built by understanding moisture, airflow, microbes, root growth, and organic matter together. Once you fix those systems, plants become more productive, more resilient, and far easier to manage. If this video helped you understand why your soil behaves the way it does, subscribe to FarmLogic and share this with another gardener who wants better harvests instead of gardening myths.